Hey, what's going on? Just want to give you a recap of how my tournament went for the Toyota Guntersville Central Division 2023. So, the first day I get down there, which I got there Wednesday night, got up Thursday morning, we got a text that there was possible tornadic weather going to come through. Winds were supposed to be really high. They ended up canceling the Thursday, day one of the tournament. And actually, the fish probably bit really well because it ended up being 72. The winds were kind of busy at times, but it really happened more later in the nighttime. Storm, came through, but it wasn't terribly bad. But I get it; they were looking out for our safety. They, you know, thought it was coming through about 3 o'clock when everybody was going to start, coming in off the lake and everything. And I get it. They were watching out for their safety. It's more important. So they canceled day one, and everybody ended up fishing day two and three because of the way that day one got canceled. So day two, went fishing, followed behind my boater. He was picking up some fish. They were getting off on him. Finally, he boated, two decent fish. Then he boated a 606 largemouth, real nice fish. And then he went to cast, and his rod got hung on his pocket, and his rod actually like torqued at his wrist, and the rod went in the lake. He went down to get it, and his knee didn't hit the gunnel like he thought it was going to. It landed more on the bottom edge, and he slid over into the lake. So I was worried about his safety, worried about him getting hypothermia. Got him back in the boat. He put on some thin stuff, went fishing, fished about an hour and a half like that, and said, man, I'm real cold. I'd like to go get some shoes that ain't wet, stuff like that from the boat. I was like, man, you just go ahead, do what you got to do. I'm concerned about your safety. I don't want you getting hypothermia, getting real sick, whatever. So we go back to the boat ramp, park his boat. He power poles down. I just get down in my box, where I had my stuff behind the passenger seat, started getting me something to eat, and didn't notice, but the boat actually, from the waves, where it was moving and the wind was coming across the lake, even though we were behind the dock, it still was choppy, and it ended up walking his power pole up underneath the edge of the dock, got hung behind a 2x6, and it was kind of folded like this. It was hard to get out, so we had to fight with that, get it out. Then we went back, went out fishing, and he picked up his other two, but I tried fishing everything he was using. Exact same bait, exact same color, different colors, different baits he wasn't even using. I tried casting behind the boat where some current was coming through under the bridge. I tried there, the point and stuff, as when we were moving down the bank. I tried out in the middle of the lake where he wasn't even fishing at, and some of the grass. I tried, a J-Bros stick bait. I tried, a mag draft. I tried a underspin with a small minnow on it, swim bait, small swim bait. Then I tried a red trap, Raven red traps, a staple on that lake. I tried one of those. I tried reeling it slow. I tried cranking fast. I tried yo-yoing it. I tried all kinds of stuff with every bait that I threw. And I threw even more baits than that. Crankbaits and all kinds of stuff. I could not get a bite. So day one boater ended up with about 17 pounds. And I blanked. So day two, woke up. It was like 72 degrees the day before to like 28, 29 degrees, something like that the next morning. Ramp was froze over. They put down salt on it. It wasn't working. They got a sump pump and some fire hoses, like firemen use this size hose. And they started spraying the ramp down, try to melt the ice off of the ramp with the warmer water, from the lake. And there was people that fell. I heard about a guy bruised his hip real bad. Since I was in the earlier first flight, boat 26 on the first day, I was boat 236, I believe, the second day. Ended up being pretty much last because they were only putting a couple of boats in. People were inching down the boat ramp, like slowly. We ended up just letting the two gentlemen on each side of us go ahead and go since we were done so late to get put in. Supposed to take off 6:30. Probably didn't take off till I think 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock. We wasn't due back in till 4:30 because we were the later flight. The day before I was due back at 3:30. So we were sitting there, we're watching, and a guy fell and landed on his shoulder. I know it had to have hurt. It looked pretty bad. He put it inside of his coveralls and was just walking around, not moving it. So I'm pretty sure his shoulders hurt pretty bad. There was ice still on the ramp between the lanes. It was a mess. Traffic was backed up halfway out of Goose Pond, just waiting to get down there and get put in. I mean, it was pretty bad. So finally we get the boat put in. We go fishing, fished here, fished there, fished here, fished there, tried every bait that I possibly could. We even ended up going, my boater had been pre-fishing some where my day one boater had caught his fish. We went there. The mud had moved into the creek even more where it stained up some. The day before it was pretty muddy. The second day didn't take any bites or catch any fish there. Went up the main channel, went back, fished some other main channel stuff, fished some creek stuff, fished some rock stuff. We fished grass. Of course, that's Guntersville's covered in grass. So he went and fished some shell beds. Saw some fish on the live target or whatever, but he couldn't get no bites. I mean, I threw a lot of baits. He threw a lot of baits. We just couldn't get any bites. And then finally, toward the end of the day, we got into a deep pocket. Not exactly a creek probably, but more like a real deep pocket. And he ended up catching fish, putting it in a live well. Probably about a little while later, he hooked into another one. He had it on for about 2 seconds. His bait goes flying up over his head. Chatterbait. We tried those everywhere too, but anyway, that's the only thing he got bites on. Bait went flying up over his head. I look over, see the fish just swimming off. And I'm like, man. And it wasn't a monster. It was definitely a keeper, but wasn't a monster. We stayed in that area the remainder of the day because it's the only place we had been able to take any bites. I mean, the water was a little cleaner in that spot. Some of the places we fished, it was mixed. You could see some mud lines, some clean stuff, and of course I was throwing at the, everything, mud line, clean stuff, just everything I could throw, and I couldn't get any bites. I mean, I tried fast, tried slow, I tried everything. I mean, I tried top water. I even tried top water on some real shallow stuff, threw up real shallow and was trying some top water and, anything to try to get a bite. And it just wasn't happening. So my day two boater, he ended up with one fish and I ended up with no fish. I tried. It wasn't for lack of trying. I do appreciate all the encouragement that everybody give me, the good lucks, and appreciate you all supporting my channel and supporting Die Hard Anglers and what we're about, sharing us out, telling people about us and what we're going to be doing. Without you guys, it ain't going to be possible. So it's up to you guys to grow this and everything. But just want to tell you how the recap of my tournament went. There was a wreck on the way home, this and that delayed me. I didn't get home for 5.5 hours, about 1 o'clock in the morning versus 12 o'clock. I was really tired, delusional. I'm still not over it, and it's Monday, and I come home on Saturday night. So it was a lot of work, a lot of soreness going on from just going after it both days as hard as I could go. And I've got a little bit of shoulder problems anyway, and carpal tunnel stuff or whatever. You don't care about that probably, but it affects me, after 2 days going hard, after it. But just a tough event, really cold. Temperature change move those fish from where they were. A lot of people that were on them during practice, their fish relocated, went different places, and they just couldn't get on them as well. There was a lot of great weights weighed in. Some of the people that caught those fish were already on those fish and had their deal figured out. A lot of them were deep fish, and if you read some of the articles, you'll see, you know, those fish were deep fish. They already had, you know, their spots picked out, and those fish wasn't affected as much by the cold weather. They were pretty much wadded up, you know, in areas. Whenever you found some, you found some. But I think the cold weather just changed those fish, moved them, made them do a few different things. Like I said, I tried things that the winning bags were caught on, but the fish just were relocated. They wasn't there, you know, during the tournament whenever I was there at the place in time, and it just wasn't meant to be. So, needless to say, I blanked on 2 days. And it's like, how do you blank on 2 days? Well, I did. I mean, I tried everything I could think of. Tried shaky heads. I tried, you know, slow dragging baits. I tried everything. And I got a couple of bites during, you know, a couple of bumps in those 2 days, but nothing committed. Didn't have anything to weigh in. Next tournament is Lewis Smith Lake, so I'll be back in Alabama. It'll be sometime during March. Can't remember the date exactly, but go try it again, give it a go. It's a never give up kind of deal. I appreciate y'all's encouragement with that. You know, I don't ever give up anyway, but it's always encouraging to have you all behind me, you know, encouraging me and helping grow Die Hard Anglers is a lot of encouragement, believing in what I do and believing in what is good for the angling community and stuff by growing us Die Hard Anglers is deeply appreciated. I mean, you don't even know how much, and without you all, it wouldn't be possible, period. So, thanks for encouraging me on my tournaments, on my adventures, going out trying to fish these tournaments. I just love tournaments, whether I do great or don't. You know, I love the atmosphere. I love the takeoff. Love coming in, seeing what everybody's got. The camaraderie amongst anglers, having fun with people going out to eat in different places. You know, it's a good time. You know, if you haven't ever tried it, you know, maybe start out at the BFL level. You know, right now it's $100 as a co-angler. You can go fish some of these other lakes. I'm doing it to fish some lakes that I've never fished. Guntersville was definitely on the bucket list last year, and I loved fishing it. I done okay. I had some decent, you know, fish last year or whatever, but not great. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. And Chickamauga was another lake, and I probably said that wrong for some of you all, but I done okay, you know, at some of the lakes I fished last year. Chickamauga was another bucket list lake. I've never fished Lewis Smith, so we're going there this year, and we're also going to be going to Chick. So I get to go fish it again, and it's just getting the experience, you know, under my belt and being able to fish these lakes that I've never fished. It's a good time. So anyway, I appreciate everything you all do. Appreciate you watching the videos all the way through. Appreciate you all hitting that subscribe button. That way it notifies you when I do put a video out. And sorry if I'm a little bit boring. I'm tired. I don't talk like, you know, really fast through my videos. That's just me. That's how I am if you know me. And I appreciate you being part of everything that we're doing and come along for these adventures. And I'll fill you in on some more stuff about what's going on soon. Really soon. Take care.